The biggest thing I want to talk to dads is break the stigma. Facts. We can be in this sport and have a good time too. This isn't just moms and daughters. Like, sorry, this is my thing too now. I'm all into cheer.
Yes.
You should see my glitter toes. Let's go. So it's just break the stigma. Have fun. I have a great time. If get dressed up, who are you impressing? You know what I mean? If your daughter looks in the crowd and sees you going bananas and you're dressed up and you've got the bandanas on and the sparkles going on, and that makes them perform that much more for you. When I came out on the football field and my mom and dad were dressed head to toe in my high school or college's colors, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna put on a show.
Welcome to today's episode of the Here for Cheer podcast. I am your host, Megan Gomarlo, and today we have the most guests we've ever had at one time. We have the three dads of the Cheer Dads Unfiltered podcast. Please help me welcome on Jeff, Tom, and David. They are coming in live all the way from Arizona, and I'm so excited to kind of talk to them tonight. So, hi guys, welcome to the show.
What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Woo! Yeah, really excited. Okay, so I just want to kick it off with how did we come up with this idea of kind of the Cheer Dads Unfiltered podcast?
So it kind of started for us. So our daughters are in their first year of prep at our gym. And we
All
started
three?
showing up, all three.
Like you're all first year Cheer Dads? Oh, this is gold. I love it.
Yes. So it's our first time. We started at the gym. We were just hanging out with the wives. I would bring my laptop and work. David was working here and there. Jeff was watching sports, and we kind of just did our own thing. And then we got kind of connected, and we reached out with an olive branch and kind of started talking. And then the wives were like, "Can you guys go outside and be quiet? Like, you guys are talking so much." We would get shushed. And then it came up with Jeff kind of being like, we should do a podcast. Like, I've always wanted to do one. And so I just showed up one night with a laptop, a microphone, a guide and a script for them and a flow in a way. And I said, we're going to record tonight. And so we recorded, created the plan. And here we are now, kind of about 60 days in from launch, and 13 episodes now coming out this week. And here we are. So we kind of just jammed on it. And we're like, let's document this season for ourselves and for the girls.
I love it so much. So now, were you guys, did you play other sports in high school? Or so your background in sports yourself?
I'll let you both go on that one. Yeah.
No, I definitely. I played football, rugby, and my senior year I decided I wanted to play another sport before I was done, so I played tennis.
Oh, I love this. And so what did you think when, your daughters or your wives or whoever was like, hey, we're signing our kids up for cheer. Here we go.
I thought there was going to be pom-poms everywhere and like little bullhorn thingies. And I thought we were going to be like, hey, let's go team.
Yes.
That's about all. That's all I knew. That's why when you sent the little form today and it was like, what did you know? I was like, nothing. So no, I definitely thought it was going to be just sideline cheer, which is what we learned.
Mm-hmm. And we kind of go over this a lot. Like, there's such a misconception of cheer and what it is today. It is not anything that, your friends in high school did, that your wives did, that I did. It is such a fast-moving, amazing sport. And I love that you want to be involved the way you are. I think it's so important, and it's key not only for moms but also dads to be involved. And there's nothing more that like churns my gears when I'll say to someone like, "Oh my gosh, you should consider signing your child up for for cheer," and they're like, "Ugh, I really want them to do a real sport. I played basketball or I played softball, and I'm really hoping they do something like that." And I want to like crawl out of my skin because they have no idea what they're talking about, this misconception. So exactly what you're saying, you thought it was Poms and Megs. So when did you start realizing that that is nothing what your daughter was going to be doing?
First practice.
And you watched?
Yeah.
First practice.
That was first practice. When we came into it, we had tryouts. We were like, okay. And then we came to practice and we all were like, what is happening? And the big smile they have to make, I think that's what shocked all three of us, was they asked them. And we were like, what is... That was throwing all of us off. And we were like, what are we doing? And then like just the way they went about it. And it was nothing like a routine of, STAR, like spell a word, all this stuff. and then just how quick they went for that practice. They were working hard for an hour and a half. It was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
it'd
I
be
love, I love
yeah.
that you're noticing that because yeah, like in high school, you're practicing almost every day of the week, you know?
Mhm.
So in All-Star, we have to be so effective and efficient in a short window of time. And I totally agree
Yeah.
with you that like we're locked in and we're moving so quickly. And I don't think people realize that it's not, you know, just hanging around, talking. I get this all the time when parents, you know, will come to me and say, you know, well, this happened or they were mean to someone. I'm like, girlfriend, there's no time for meanness. I mean, like it's
Moving.
like go, go, go. Set up the next thing, move to the next thing. Like we're just not hanging out, being mean to each other. Or, you know, in order for things to happen, it's got to be quickly in a water break or because we're on the move. We're going.
That's what our coach
And
says. That's what our coach says every time. Like she tells the girls at
mhm,
the end of every practice, "Hey, next one, I need you girls in here, like locked in, move, like get
yeah,
in, and we're just getting right to it. There is no pre warm up or anything. We got to go because our girls only get an hour and a half on twice a week, so they only get
yeah,
3 hours a week. Now, mind you, the routine's 2.5 minutes. Another thing we
hmm
learned is the most
yes,
powerful 2.5 minutes ever, but
yeah,
they only get 3 hours a week and then maybe an occasional all team prep, you know, before a comp.
yep,
And so the coaches say it all the time. I need you girls to be ready. Walk in here and we gotta be locked in.
yeah. So other than the palms and the megaphones non-existing, what was your biggest shocker, you know, when you were watching practices or when you went to your first event?
I think it was the intensity of the coaches. Honestly, our coaches were intense. It was like reminding me of football. Of like the first day, the coaches are just on you, you know, trying to figure out who, you know, how they can push you, how they can make you better, who's going to respond, and they were on our girls like day one. Anyone
Yeah.
talking in the back, they're yelling at them and stuff, and I think that caught me off guard for sure.
No, it definitely it's how athletic it is. You know what I mean? Just watching them tumble around and jump up and hold each other up, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's just I didn't expect it to be that athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me it was learning with sideline cheer, it's about entertainment, right? It's just having a good time out there. They can try different moves. If they fall, not the end of the world, right? It's okay. Things happen. You're just entertaining. Where for me, what I loved so much about it coming from my sales background and what I do for a living was the mastery of it. Competitive cheer is so focused on the mastery of what they're doing. They're going against a rubric. It's all about, you know, how tight their formations are, how quick their timing is. And it's not so much about, yes, showmanship, put on the face and everything, but it is actually the fundamentals. So for me, it was just shocking to see the athleticism and the tightness that they have to run with and the focus that they have to, because it is really about these girls and athletes are mastering their craft and being in
Yeah.
competitive cheer versus the loose goose stuff where you're just kind of entertaining on the sideline just to rile up a crowd.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I think too that we work so hard to make it look easy that sometimes a bystander can look, I know even watching my own kids sometimes, and they make it look so easy and so just going, I'm like, I think I could do that, you know, like, but we know behind the scenes how much work goes into not only mastering it, but then having to look good while doing it. I mean, imagine a layup not actually counting unless it had good technique, you know,
Oh,
like in other sports, it's just
Yeah,
getting
it's
it through
pretty
the
crazy.
hoop and it's really hard.
that was the
So
crazy part, I would say, is that we've talked about that on our pod at one point of David said it. What if like during a football play, there was judges in the stands monitoring, and then after every play, you got critiqued. Hey, you didn't get off the line right. You didn't lock up enough, and like every play
yes,
was judged. That would be stressful. I couldn't do that. That would kill me.
yeah,
There's so many imperfections that happen on every football play, right? But it doesn't matter because someone breaks loose and things happen and it doesn't matter. But here it's like every imperfection matters. It comes down to decimal points, who
yes,
wins first or second place, and it's crazy.
yeah. And I think it's, you know, people don't realize the amount of pressure those kiddos feel, you know, that you've packed up your car, you've practiced, and you go and they get one chance, you know, like I just think of in other sports, a coach can call timeout, can, you know, if they're starting to get unfocused or something's going haywire, you know, you're like timeout, you know, you pull those kids in, you're able to get back out, you're able to have the break at halftime or in a quarter and kind of like rein everybody in and keep coaching. From a coaching standpoint and from an athlete standpoint, it is so stressful that,
Yeah,
and you know, it's hard to relate that to someone who's never seen it or done it. that truly they get one up at bat, and that's
it.
You know what I mean? And that's it.
It's not like baseball where you play 3 games a week either. It's like they have one comp every other, like for our girls, it's like they're a month apart. We have like 4 comps a month apart, and that's it. So each one's 2 minutes. So that's 8 minutes that you're performing for an entire year. That's what, and it matters, that little bit. So it's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
It is.
We talked about that on the pod. We had Jeff do hot takes, and we said, do you think cheer is as difficult as football? And it triggered a ton of people. And it was exactly what you said, Megan, where we get breaks. There's 5 minutes of actual football play in a game, right? In 3 hours, where these girls go for 2.5 minutes nonstop, and it's one shot, one opportunity. And if anybody on your team messes that up, the whole squad gets affected. Jeff and I were saying, hey, you can miss a block and the guy can still get a touchdown. You can miss your defensive spot, still get the play. But with cheer, competitive cheer, one girl messes it up or one athlete, that's everybody. And so for us, we did say we believe cheer is harder than the more traditional sports because of all that it entails.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more with you guys. And I think another piece is that, just kind of going into dads that maybe aren't always showing up for things when it comes to cheer. I truly believe it's because they don't understand it. Like I think that's it. I don't think it's that they don't love their child or they don't want to be a part of it or, but I truly think they don't get it. And it would be like, I don't know how to describe it, because when I talk to people too, I always kind of say, like, in gym class, when I did gym, I could learn basketball in a week. Like they teach all the basics of the rules and the guidelines, and like you can kind of, it doesn't mean I'm good at it, but I mean, I could learn the sport in basically a week's time. Same with like soccer, football. Like it's very easy for us to lock into that and be excited about that or be on board. And then you get cheer, and if you're watching it, you're not understanding where these scores are coming from or the opponent or, how those things are going. And I feel like that is the disconnect, and such a great thing that you guys are doing your podcast and showing that, dads can show up, dads can become informed and be, really excited about the sport for their child. And you can be sports guys. Like you can love all sports and still want to know those things.
That's David for you. I'd like David to take this point because that's exactly what happened, right, David? And you didn't get it, but then you got so deep in the scores and connecting, like just like in football. What's the line of scrimmage? What's a first down? What's a field goal? And you kind of got that, and now you're so locked in ever since, right?
I think it's true with any sport. Like you said, other sports are easier. It's like you hit the ball over the fence, you get a home run. Like that's 1 point.
Yes.
Like you learn those, like the ball goes to the basket, you get 2 points. If they shoot from farther, it's 3 points. Those games are pretty simple. Now there's more complex things that happen as you watch the game more.
Yes.
But like there's a simple side of it. There's not really a simple side to cheer. Like the whole routine can go clean. Everyone lands where they're at, and you could get last place. And you're sitting there like, I have no idea why we got last place, and it's frustrating. So for me, I was like, for me to be involved and for me to like be able to talk to my daughter, I was like, I need to know how this scoring works. I need to know how competitions work. I need to know how divisions work. I need to know what's going on here. And I think that's huge. Like you said, once you know all that stuff, then it's more interesting.
Oh yeah.
And it's more fun.
We're so locked in now. Now we're watching the comps differently. We're like, hey, nope, your knees weren't straight. Oh, nope, we see that one. Like, we still don't got scoring to a complete science. Like, I still don't know, like, why it ends up the way it does. But I can coach my daughter a little bit more now. I can show her and review game tape, right? We believe very big in reviewing game tape. And so we'll watch it back and say, hey, Jeff, you've done that with Ruby many times, right? Like, hey, look at your timing and your back walkover, right? And things of that. Because Jeff, you got heavily with
see
Ruby.
Her approach straight legs,
Yeah.
She wants to see it. She wants to see, are my legs bent? Are they not bent? Yeah, she's super intense about it. So yeah.
Yep. So I don't know if you guys realize, but I own a cheer gym as well. So I've owned a gym for 20 seasons. I'm also a cheer mom. My girls are in it. They love it. And in our gym, we've done some scoring nights with dads only. And, where we invite the dads in and we kind of go over a score sheet with them and just showing them the breakdown and kind of exactly like you guys are saying, those are the seasons that my dads are suddenly like, they're running up to me after, like, I saw that team and they did A, B, and C wrong, or you guys have this in the bag. And it's so fun to watch them get really into it and cheer on the other kids and, we're the gear. We have a dad in our gym that is so good about dressing up just for fun for the kids. And the girls love him. In our gym, we don't have a lot of male cheerleaders, just New England. It's a little bit harder to find. But they just love it. They love seeing the dads kind of all in, clapping loud, chanting, getting pumped, getting them hyped up. And that piece really helps. What's something that, your gym owners or coaches have done to help make a difference in you understanding cheer better, or what's something we can all do better as gym owners to help dads like you guys?
I think it's like you said, bring dads in. I mean, we did that thing with one of our elite athletes, Shaq. Shout out to Shaq. And he brought us in for a stunt class with our daughters. And it was amazing. And
So much fun.
We've all talked. We would do it every single weekend. If they let us do it every single weekend, we would do it every weekend.
We'd be there
So,
every
I would just
weekend.
say that.
Yeah, great workout
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It
Make
is.
the dads do the cheer stuff. You know what I mean?
It opened our
That's what
eyes
they do.
to understand basing.
yeah.
Like we got to understand basing, how
I love this.
so much trust goes into the athletes. Like, because you see it, like you said, you just see it happen on stage. You're like, oh, that was great, so effortless. But to see and have to throw your own daughter up, me and David had a hard time. We were like throwing them, and we jump in too quick because we were just so nervous, and we grabbed too early. And Shaq was like, "You got to get him over your head," and me and David were like, "No, absolutely not." And so we just got to see it from that. And so yeah, to that point is get the dads involved. I love the scoring sheet with dads night. Doing a daddy daughter stunt class.
Yep.
And just kind of saying, hey, you guys can be in this and be invested. And we'd love to have you. Our gym's embraced us very heavy in the way that
I
we've
love
shown
that.
up. And they love it. Right. And then we've
Yeah.
even coordinated outfits at comps. David will share that part. We've done a lot in kind of bringing that energy because it does impact showmanship. We found out crowd noise does not affect scoring. I
Yep.
know, crazy, biggest myth of the world. We're told
Yep.
to cheer and do all that, but it doesn't count. But we do
But I
know it
think the
does.
kids feel different. They can
They do.
feel your electricity and your energy. And so I think I know when the kids come off, they'll say, the crowd wasn't good today. I'm like, well, we can't blame our performance on a crowd, but I will get on them and tell your parents to get loud and excited. And even though they say it doesn't matter, I still believe that, when you hear a crowd going crazy, you're going to assume that those kids are better than they are, because there is subjectivity.
Yep.
And I always say it to my parents to show up for every team in our gym because number one, every kid deserves to feel like $1 million. Like we've talked about earlier, they put all this time in. They only get the 2 minutes or the 2:30. Every kid deserves to feel like, Morgan Wallen. I love me some Morgan Wallen. Deserves to feel like
Yes.
Morgan Wallen out there.
Yes.
And also that if you walked up to, two street performers and there was like 2 people clapping and one was going bananas, automatically your
go?
brain, whether you want it to or not, goes, this performer must be better than this one, So I think it does impact. They say it doesn't, but I really think it does
Yeah.
have a little bit of a piece of it.
I think it affects the subjectivity score, like you said. Like they mentioned, there's not a single spot on the scorecard for you to give more points for the crowd, right? There's not like a category, but
No.
it doesn't mean that they're not going to score your dance a little bit higher because
Yeah.
your crowd is clapping along to it and into it as well. I think the environment affects it for sure.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they would disagree
and like
with me.
hands up, going nuts. I'm sure it sounds like that's something you guys do in your gym that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It's really intimidating for kids to see phones. I mean, I get it. I want to record and I want to have every moment of my child. Like these are our babies and we're so proud and we want to capture every moment, but there's something with that connection that your kids see a sea of people jumping up and down, clapping and going, bananas. And we really try to tell our parents too to go crazy as we're leading into a skill to help give them that momentum to knock it over the fence. Don't wait until they've knocked it over the fence and hit the skill. But in the lead up, that's when they need that extra energy.
That's a good play. That's a smart play. Because I was telling the guys the other day, I've started watching performances back on varsity and stuff, and you can see, even with us, we know what happens during practice. We've seen the lead up. And so when they do hit that moment, everybody goes berserk. And I've started to notice in different replays, that gym struggled in that because you could see the crowd elevate once they do hit that, where they go quiet in these lulls. Then they hit the pyramid and everybody's like, yes, they did it. And so we do the same, but it is good to kind of maybe switch that to the lead up because then they do get that fire inside to hit that.
Yep.
Because it is tough.
I think we're all too nervous in the lead up. That's the problem. We all get quiet.
No, I know. Everybody's going, come on.
Please.
Ah!
And they hit it and we go crazy. But yeah.
I totally agree. That. So when did you guys realize how important the team aspect was? Because I think that that's something when you first, join our sport, you don't realize how essential it is to have every teammate at practice. When did you guys recognize that? And, what was that like for you to see that difference?
I always thought cheer was a team sport. I mean, even from sideline cheer, you can see that all the girls got to get together, girls and boys. And I'll say it's just girls. But, so you've always seen that it's a team sport because if one of them's shouting, go, 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 and the other one's just like, what I mean? It's not cheerleading at that point, right?
Yeah.
But I don't even want to call this cheerleading. It's cheer. I feel like cheer is,
the best way to put it.
Cheer, right? I don't know how else to put it. I don't want to offend anybody on either side because, but I've always thought that cheerleading was a team aspect. So, I mean, anybody that's been in sports, so.
But, when there's a basketball player who misses practice, we sub somebody in. You don't show up, we sub in somebody. I'm sure, on your team, your roster is the same. You don't have alternates that are sitting out of practice. Yeah. And, I think that's a big misconception that parents have when they're like, well, my kid had a school thing or we had and something we wanted to do or we wanted to go out to dinner. And as a coach and when you're watching and seeing how important every athlete is, that when one athlete doesn't show up to practice, unlike other sports, there's no string of people kind of waiting to go in and out and sub them. And that's a lot different.
That's what happened for us is so to answer your question on my side, it took a while, right? We knew it was a team sport. We understood kind of that first 6 months leading up to comp season, kind of what they had to do, right? Practice, non-negotiables, all teams. Recently, though, after our first comp, we tied for first. Was awesome experience. We had the bar high right out the gates. Right before our second comp, we actually had a girl fracture her elbow. And so it was our first actual down person going into a comp. And we had a fill-in come in. We go to comp. She had 4 practices before comp. Yeah. That's it. And she's on a level above us. So she came down. She helped support. She was amazing. Yeah. We go to second comp. Unfortunately, we suffered a fall. And we got our first deduction because of a timing issue with that girl kind of getting ahead in the nugget. Came up too quick, caused a structural fall through the 3 girls doing the nugget. And I think that for me really hit in realizing they're doing this routine for 6 to 8 months together. They learn each other. It's like dancing and learning. Even quarterbacks have to get their timing with their receivers, right? So even then, it takes months to get that timing. Can I throw the deep ball? Can they get there? Then all of a sudden, right when they figure it out, another receiver comes in. That sucks. Miscues, passes are overthrown. So we saw it in that of just realizing, oh man, we just had a girl kind of step in and it just kind of threw everything off for the whole vibe of the group because they all rallied, they were a family. We were the starlights. We were the crew. Not that she did anything wrong. Girl was amazing. She just stepped back up to her team. We got our girl back this week, but it was just one of those things where you saw the importance of these girls are a team. They are a unit. They are on track with each other. And then to see one kind of be replaced out, it isn't as simple as, well, they've been working with us all year as fill-ins. We have 5 subs and they're just here all year. No, you have no subs. There is nobody for you. There is nobody on the back roster. They just find somebody that's willing to do it. And then they come and step in, which is also kudos to them because I could never do that. How do you come in and learn a whole cheer routine in 4 practices and be like, cool, we got to go perform this?
You tried to. You're going to try out for Rain.
I am. I'm going to try it. I am going to try out for the co-ed international team.
You're going to come fill in and use the base.
That's it. Yeah. I told him.
Let's go. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, he already got told respectfully no, honestly. He was already respectfully told, thanks anyway, Tom. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it didn't count the dad-daughter stunting clinic as experience.
No.
They did not.
No, yeah, they definitely
didn't count.
Yeah.
They did not.
And so what can you tell me about the environment of, being a parent? Things that gym owners and coaches, maybe we don't realize or, in that waiting area of parents being there in that kind of fishbowl, what are some hot takes of parents, that would help us as coaches and gym owners be better?
I think just more communication. I think more communication. I think for us, we stepped into this, we never were like greeted by the coaches, right? We didn't get a orientation meeting. I think would be
Okay.
really cool of
Yeah,
like,
I love
at
that
the start of
idea.
the season, it's like just the parents and just the coaches. Like on a Saturday afternoon or during the week, hey, come 30 minutes early. We want to sit with you guys and kind of explain score sheets, how things
Yeah.
work, what we got going on, because we literally got thrown in and that was it. We showed up for day one for
You
practice
signed
and
up, you're
that's
there.
you're there. So for us, we didn't learn a lot of stuff until we had to learn ourselves, right? We've kind of invested this in ourselves versus, we don't really get to hear them, give the feedback on the score sheet. In our gym, there's two levels. So there's the fish bowl on the inside with the glass where you can't hear a
Yep.
thing. We
Yep.
sit up top where we're open. So we do get to hear
Okay.
them. We get to stay up at the top. And we love it, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't sit in the fish bowl. I couldn't do it. David and us have tried. We're like, no, I need to be there. But we don't get to hear everything as good as
Yeah.
we'd hope. So when they sit down with the team, we don't get to hear like the full score breakdown or stuff. So I think just more communication to the parents on like what we got going on, how things are going to work, what we're doing. They took out a whole movement for us before a comp, like a trust fall in a pyramid, and we just really had no idea. And then
Yeah.
comp happened, and we got tied for first, and we even had to go on our podcast and be like, we got to give flowers to the coaches. They know what they're doing. We just thought like, why
Yeah.
didn't you do this? Because there was no communication. We didn't get it.
I think compared to other sports I was in, the access to coaches is different. I coached Pop Warner and stuff like that. And it was like after practice was over, you would talk to the boys, and all the parents would come stand around. They're listening to everything that you're saying. And then you're available for 15, 20 minutes after practice. Good parents coming up and like, hey, what can Johnny work on? Or,
Yeah.
Johnny play running back, and say like, no, Johnny can't play running back. He's the right tackle. And things like that. So like you have to have that. And I don't. This isn't just cheer. This is honestly my other daughter does dance, and dance is the same way. When dance practice is over, there's no access to that coach, that anything like that. You have to email and really work hard to like get access to those kind of things. And so that was interesting to me, coming
No,
from
I
the
love
cheer world,
that.
that there was not that same kind of interaction. We got
Yeah.
really unprecedented interaction with our coaches because they came on our podcast, and so we got to ask them a lot of questions.
That's awesome.
And they've been really, we messaged them and stuff like that. They're really communicative now. But I know there's some parents on our team who've never had a conversation with their coaches, which is
No,
crazy.
truly, I like in doing the podcast, I take away so many things because I want to be the best I can be for my athletes, for my parents, for, as a leader. And, these things, they're like all in my mental notes to add this and how important it is. So I appreciate it so much. How about you, Jeff? Anything to add?
No, they're right. Like, so, I mean, any sport that I played as a kid, you always had the coach talk to the parents and kind of give their resume, right? So, like when I coached Pop Warner, I'm like, hey, I played football, through college. I played rugby in college. Like, so parents are like, oh, maybe we need to be quiet and let Jeff coach because he knows what he's talking about. So if our coaches would have came out and Tom Brady'd us with the ring right off the back, and
Yep.
been like, hey, I was a world's athlete. I know what I'm talking about. When they didn't do something in the routine, we wouldn't have been up there like, whoa, where's our trust fall? That was so awesome. Like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe our coaches know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that just is it too. That the access to the coaches would be a lot nicer,
No,
especially
I
right off the
love
bat.
that.
And then just to know that, I mean, this is stressful for parents too, right? Like you talk about the kids having 2 minutes of straight stress. Look at the parents in the crowd, man. We're extremely stressed out. I mean, it's not only stress for me to get a good position to watch the girls, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, that whole 2 minutes, you're biting your nails that entire 2 minutes, like, oh,
Yeah.
please, 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 because if one girl messes up, that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's extremely stressful for parents too, and I think just knowing that.
Absolutely. And I think it circles back too to like the kind of coaching staff that you hope your child has. That like, as you're saying, those mistakes can happen. They can happen no matter how hard we practice. Like and in a traditional sport, hopefully you didn't drop the winning pass at the end of the game or miss the shot at the very end of the game. But in an actual, game, there's a lot of times that maybe things weren't implemented as they were supposed to have happened, or like a dropped pass or a strike or, all these kind of things, but they're not on this stage that everybody is counting on them. Hopefully they have moments within the game to get it back, to get excited. And I think it's so important that you have great coaches that are going to support your child when these kids are going out there and like giving it their all and being very brave. And yeah, you want those things for your child.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys have been coaches as well to understand that.
Yeah. And I'll shout out our coaches, right? We
Yeah.
did get very fortunate. We've heard of some of the other teams and squads, and Coeen and Carly, right? Coeen was a world champion in
Yeah.
2024. She'd been doing it since she was 4. Carly been doing it since she was 8. So they came up in the gym, and the way that they have built our girls up, and when we saw the fall and they all came back out of the tunnel, Coeen pulled them to the side and walked them through that moment, right? And it was just very different to see them kind of lift these girls up, because so much can happen. And those 3 girls
Yeah.
came out bawling their eyes out. They were
Oh, yeah.
devastated,
No, I
right?
know.
Like
I know.
they were just so upset because it is a deduction, right? You didn't hit 0, and now your raw, because the raw score beat the other team, which stunk, right? We did beat, but the
Yeah.
deduction cost it. But to see our coaches and the way that they're they're funny. They're like one of the girls. They'll sometimes jump in during practice and base with the girls because somebody will be out and they're kind of helping. And they joke and they've got all these little jokes with the girls. But then when they need to turn it on, they've earned that respect from the girls to be like, hey, I've got you. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think being blessed with those coaches early on in the career, I do believe Coeen and Carly will be a coach that our girls remember 20 years from now and be like, I remember those 2 and kind of how they impacted me. It's
Yeah.
super important.
And as parents get really involved, I think it's hard for them to remember that like no kid goes out and wants to mess up. Like I promise you, there is not a
Right.
child that steps out on that stage and goes, I really hope I let my team down in some way today, or my coaching staff or my parents. And when we're all invested in this like 2-minute routine or 2 minute and 30 seconds, like depending on what level you're in, yeah, like I think sometimes parents can lose sight of that, and it's very easy to point fingers. And my number one piece in every parent meeting is your child will mess up at some point in this sport. Like your child will be the one that trips, that forgets a tumbling pass, that misses a foot in a stunt, that comes down from a stunt early and it causes some sort of deduction. And how we respond to it is going to be what, gets you good karma later on for when your kid messes up and allows that kid to not be afraid to fail the next time. Our goal as coaches is that, and as a parent, like I want my kids to know, like, yeah, you made a mistake, but like go out there. Like if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. Things are going to go
That's
wrong
it.
in all sports. And I think that piece is really important to get.
100%. And I think that we lean in very heavily like that. Now that we are so invested as dads, knowing what coaching did for us, the way our coaches showed up for us in those other sports, we do try to do that for the girls. But at the same time, I also have the respect to let the coaches coach. When my kid gets in the car, it isn't me to talk her through what she already knows. She's hard enough on
Yes.
herself. Coeen and Carly are
Yes.
already walking through it. I need to be her
Yes.
biggest supporter and help her, but I also can't coach her. Like I need to leave that alone.
Yes.
I don't want to
Ugh.
conflict. I don't want to be in too much noise. But at the same time, I can guide because I get it. And I'm like, hey, your timing was off a little bit, but you're working on it, right? Give yourself
Yeah.
grace. Like we'll get there and we'll go through privates with Coeen or Carly and we'll kind of work on that. But I don't try to like coach or be like, hey, you were off tonight. What are you doing? Like, why were you messing around? It's not my job, right? Because as
No,
coaches,
gosh.
we know as coaches, I don't need the parent out there running loudly and being all crazy and thinking they know better because I need you to trust me and let me be their coach. So it's also that part too.
Yeah. Every parent listening needs to hear that part because I think it always comes from a good place of like laying in a little extra or adding your own pointers to it or saying the coach should have let you fly or should have put you in the tumbling pass or it was Susie's fault that you guys didn't win today. And parents don't realize how much they really also impact the child. And as coaches, we're trying to instill all these qualities of we over me, of, being a great teammate first and being a good person. But if at home at the dinner table, mom and dad are talking trash on the coaches and saying we don't know what we're doing and you should be on this team. And that parent athlete coach relationship is just tarnished and it doesn't matter what we do. Mom and dad will always trump as they should.
Yep.
But yeah, we can't, it's really hard to build that relationship and to build that respect if we don't have it from parents. And that not being, said that if you guys are noticing something that coaches aren't doing correctly,
Sure.
you deserve to talk to us or ask us or question or and get some kind of response of like, this is why we made the decision for Susie or those kind of things. But yeah, what you're saying is so important.
I think a big thing too is you don't want to bring that to your kids either, right? Because if I'm telling my daughter all the time, oh hey, your back check is way better than Susie Q's, you should be doing that. Well, that's going to create animosity with her. You know what I mean? Now she's going to
Yes.
look at her like, oh, I should be doing that. Why am I not doing that? So now the kid starts questioning the coach, right? And I think the biggest thing we've ever heard from anybody was from Shaq when we asked him, and he's like, "Let your coaches coach. Let your coaches coach."
Yep. Yeah.
You
And
have to
relating it
trust.
to like your workplace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, like this is the job, in All-Star specifically, these guys are employed to work and to coach teams and to lead practice. So thinking of it in that way, I think can kind of help you understand it better. Like somebody showing up at your job and being like hovering over you at your
Absolutely not.
computer and being like, why aren't you pushing that? Why aren't you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you pick this today? And yeah, it can be a lot. And again, I think everybody comes from a good place. I think parents, and I say it to my own parents all the time, or my coaches when they're like, that parent's nuts. I'm like, they just love their baby and they want to be a part of it. So like find a way to include them, because they're going to write their own narrative of negative if we don't explain things and over explain and, kind of keep that communication open with them so that they know what's going on. It's their most prized possession in the whole entire world they're trusting you with. And until you have babies of your own, I know as a young coach, I didn't get it. I literally would be like, what is going on with these parents? And then my own little baby came, home crying from school. And I'm like, who's the mom? Who's the dad? Who's the kid? Like, get in the car. We're going to fight these people. I saw red, like when my baby was sad. So, we get it. It is. It's your baby.
We make that joke all the time, after comps. Like our most recent one, we competed against 5 teams. Our third comp, our girls hit amazingly. We all thought it was their best performance of the season. We got 5th of 5th. We were 5th place. And immediately all the parents like turned into a cheer gang. And we're like, where in the streets do we gotta go? What judges we gotta go talk to? And everybody was, heavily invested. But the girls were like messing around, goofing off. They didn't care. They were cool. They don't
Yep.
get it. They were just like, we're fine. And we're just ready to be like, which judge? Who do we gotta go after?
Yes.
Like, because you are invested, and people don't get it. Our coaches are younger, right? They're like 24, 25, like they don't
Yep.
have kids. So for them, they just see these crazy parents and these crazy dads, like they
Yeah.
laugh at us. They're like, what are you 3 doing? Because we'll come
Yeah.
out all mobbed out in outfits. Then, but once you have that kid, you will go to hell and back for that kid. So it's hard to let the coaches coach and just be like, hey, they know what's best for my kid, but also knowing when to speak up, like you said, and not just kind of let it go, but kindly ask the coaches, hey, why is my daughter not involved in this stunt here? Just from a place of curiosity, not you're
Yes.
doing it wrong or that I need my kid to be there. I just need to know so I can support them too. Because at the car ride home, they're asking me. So I need to be able to kind of be that guide for them a little bit. So it just goes back to just more communication. I don't think a cheer coach can ever over communicate. I would prefer it,
Yes.
right? Everything, just so I know and I can also guard and protect my daughter as she navigates
Yeah.
the world too.
Okay, so now as you're in the parent culture, I'm sure you also have some of those negative ones. That no matter what, like, can you just talk a little bit about parent culture and how important it is, to be positive and have each other's back? We've all got them. There's not a gym in the country
Megan,
without parents that are negative Nancy's, and like no matter what I say or do, they think they could do better. This could be better. Every decision I make, they can't wait to call me out on everything. But yeah, let's talk about that.
Tom, I have a statement prepared. Here we go. Our parents are great. They do everything the best.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that dynamic, Megan. Do you want to talk on it, David, and kind of share kind of what you've seen and what we've went through in the year?
Yeah, but we've honestly avoided talking about it much on our podcast because we don't want to get, flack back from parents and things like that. So we've talked, there's definitely those parents who are clearly living vicariously through their kids.
Yeah.
They are just like, this is as big of an event for them as it is for their kids. Like it's about that, them combined. I'm not saying it's just about them, but it's about their, participation in it as well, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world. I've seen parents live vicariously through their kids in football, which is usually not a good thing when the kid's just getting destroyed out there and the dad is, just unaware to it. But I mean, I think in general, we've had really supportive parents. Our parents show up, they care. We've had more dads like joining kind of like our crew, which has been awesome to see.
Yes. I
I
love
feel
that.
like we've kind of
Mhm.
challenged dads to show up a little bit more. But we've also had pushback for sure. There's no doubt about it that we've had pushback from some parents, either on the podcast or social media stuff that we've posted. They've had some back and forth with. So it's not all roses for sure.
No, and I mean, you want to be real. I think that's the point of like a podcast or anything is like not to act like, again, the best gyms in the country that win a lot and win things. We all deal with the same,
Yeah.
hard
Right.
conversations or hard situations or things that we thought should have been better for our child. And like that's what makes it relatable. And I think in a world where everything appears perfect, there are people out there listening that look up to your gym and look up to your program and literally think that, you never have a problem. Everyone's in your waiting area just going, we love our kids. We love our coaches. Let the coaches coach, and oh, we lost. No big deal. We're not mad at the coaches. We're going to be just mad at judges. We stand by the coaches in every decision. And we don't have people that go, oh, see, if Susie was back in that stunt, nothing would have gone wrong. And if my kid had been, we all have it. So I think, I love that you're protecting your program, but at the same time, it is just, we all deal with it, and I think it comes from a good place. I really believe no one is trying to be hurtful of their child. Those people living vicariously, want more for their own kid because they know what the sport gave them, or
Yeah.
it's all from a good place, but sometimes it comes across not correctly. And as a mom myself, there's been decisions I've made or I've done the car ride home where, I want my kid to be better and just be a good person. And I hear a coach call them out for not paying attention. And then I'm in the car ride on them even harder. And I've had great people in my life and mentors who have been like, step on the brakes and listen to what you're doing and keeping it real with me to make me be better for them. Because I think at the end of the day, we all want a love of the sport. I think that is key. You don't want a child to quit cheerleading ever because as a parent, I put too much pressure on them without meaning to, but I'm bribing them with things. I'm like, when are you throwing your back handspring? When are you throwing a back handspring? When are you throwing that back handspring? And on the inside, we know that kids have a different learning pace, that it doesn't mean they're not working their butt off, that some kids are just born with that strength or that flexibility naturally. And other kids have to work really hard for it. And neither is right or wrong or good or bad. And as parents, we think, I'll buy you a new iPhone, and not realizing the pressure that keeps going on them. Or did you throw it today? Did you throw it today? And those kind of mistakes, like I said, we all make them, but we want our kid to love cheer forever. As a coach, my coaches know that I never want a child to quit cheerleading because a coach didn't make it fun, made it at a win at all cost idea. And when they're little, it needs to be fun. And I think that was a hard piece for me as a mom to learn because I'm like, let's go, let's win. And, because I'm very competitive myself. I love sports. But then I would realize at the end of the season when I would say, what was your favorite part of the year? Kids would be like, oh, when we were in the pool at Providence. And I'm like, what? We won. You're a national champ. That was everything. Blood, sweat, and tears. And it didn't always align. And I think that's really hard as parents.
That's 100%. I mean, there's 3 of us. It's a dynamic, right? This is our first year, and I'm sure we've all kind of had, our daughters are all different level. Yes, we're in the level 1 together, but Jeff's over here, his daughter's hitting the back walkover, now on the front walkover, and David and I and our daughters are struggling to get that, right? But there's different things where it's size, it's just so much going on. Some of them are bases, some of them are flyers, some of them now want to switch positions. They're like, hey, I want to be a flyer. So I even think with us 3 navigating a podcast and keeping it real and understanding where everybody's at, we get hella competitive with each other. We talk smack on our daughter's behalf to each other, and have that fun. But then you sit down with them and we'll ask them, hey, what'd you think about getting that placement? They don't care. They don't even notice.
No.
Or it's just the friendships that they've made. Just the fact that our 3 girls locked onto one another and are actual friends looking forward to practice and building that camaraderie. But as a parent, I mean, Jeff laughed at me because I said I was going to move gyms. I was like, I need to be on a gym that wins. I got to move. I got to go over here. And he gives me slack. He's like, no, bro, stop. And I'm like, dude, my daughter needs to be over here. And I'm just kidding. But it's like that. It's, you're competitive. We all know what it's like. I want my daughter to go to Worlds one day. And I want that for her. But I also have to remember just enjoy the game, enjoy the process. Even as an
Yes.
adult, we have to learn that. And just like, there is no end goal. Success is whatever you want to put on it. So, whatever that means to you. And so, for my daughter, it's like, please just enjoy doing this for the next 20 years. Have fun with it. Like, if you win, you win. If you don't, that's okay too. You still went out there and did a great performance for 2.5 minutes. You got to see your progression and the growth that you've had. All three of our girls now have six packs. They walk around school with so much sass. They give us the
Yeah.
sass at home now more than ever. And I'm like, hey, don't bring that around here. We can do that out there, but not around here. But they're just so much confident, more athletic. And it's like, just enjoy that. Forget the pressure.
Yeah.
But it's hard because as parents, we
It
want to talk
is.
smack. We want to be like, hey, we have to say our girls didn't get first place this time. Hey, they didn't go there. Then you see all these other gyms always sharing. They're cleaning slate. They're hitting zero. They're doing all this. And you're like, dang, hopefully we'll get there. But it's
Yep.
year one for us. And we're just kind of being patient with it and letting it be.
Yeah.
But it is competitive.
That's the
It does.
best.
The parents do get competitive. And we've even heard it gets worse. Like, we're new dads. We're just kind of telling people through our podcast the same thing. Like, I'm hearing from other dads, like, they get aggressive up there. If a girl does cost you points or drop, like, it gets catty. It doesn't get fun. The parents do bombard other parents and be like, hey, it's your fault that our girls didn't. And it's like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of having a mild season right now, and we're getting through it for the most part. But it does concern me that as we do go on, those people are going to start ripping into one another. It does get catty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think one thing that helps with our team is that all of our it's with prep. I think All Star you see more of that competitiveness with parents because you probably have more of this like where there's one girl who's really really good, right? We have girls, they're all good, but no one is like so far and above where they don't make mistakes at all. Like there's no one on our team who's not been yelled at by the coaches, who hasn't been ripped for a whole practice because they're just having a bad. Everyone's had that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any parents on our team who can outwardly this everyone knows that's the best person and they are, the greatest at everything. So I think we have a culture where like if somebody kind of acted like that, it would not like if someone posted in our group me something negative about the coaches, it would get shut down very quickly.
I
Yeah.
Like
love
there's
that.
not this
I
environment we're
love
just all
that.
going to complain about the coaches. Now again, we sit upstairs, which is us and a couple and our wives and a couple other couples. So I can't, I don't know what happens downstairs. Anything we
It's
say, a
better
lot of
to
our
stay
coaches
away.
can say it. He can hear us. So there's not going to be a whole lot of,
Yeah.
we'll make jokes and stuff and kind of complain to the coaches from the upstairs. But downstairs, they can say some things that the coaches don't hear and be a little more private with it. But
Two things that I always tell everybody is like, if you don't give me a chance to fix it, like you're a coward and you're not being a great parent for your child to see. If you have a problem with something I'm doing, I want you to talk to me. It doesn't mean I'm going to change it, but I want to know because I can't fix something I don't know. I don't realize that something bad is happening or your child's coming home sad because she wanted a chance to try back spotting. Okay, well, tell me because then, maybe I can work to give her that opportunity. And, and the second thing is, if you're the parent that acts as the sounding board of the negativity of all the parents, I don't trust you either. You guys know how it is. If somebody
Yeah.
started talking poorly about your wife, you wouldn't listen and go, and then go back to your wife and be like, guess what? Guess what Debbie was saying about you? No, you would be the first to stand up
Yeah.
for your wife and say, hey, if you have a problem with my wife, number one, like, I'm going to knock you out. No, no, but like, go talk to her. And, and I'm not going to let you talk poorly. I think negativity breeds negativity the same way positivity breeds positivity. So
It's toxic.
you guys are doing it right
It's
by
toxic.
being the positive ones. Yep.
It's very toxic, and we are fortunate that I don't think we're a few say 9 months in this now, right? We're about to end the season, and I don't think we've had really too much of an issue with any kind of parents or anybody
That's
being
awesome.
kind of trash talking the coaches or saying they
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing. We all have a lot of respect for the two coaches, and I think they've done a wonderful job managing 8-year-olds. Let's be real. Like, I couldn't do it. I don't have the patience. I tell Jeff all the time, I couldn't do what they do. It'd be tough. And we have 23 girls on our team. So it is a bigger squad. But everybody's so nice. Everybody's pretty good about supporting one another. But
Yeah, protect that forever. Protect that culture because
that's
as your
the
babies
idea.
grow up, it'll make a big difference. It truly does
Yeah.
make a huge, huge difference to have that support
Well,
in, the parent viewing area. And again, I do not mean this as a gym owner or a coach never makes a mistake. The best
That's
gym
true.
owners and coaches will man up and like admit it and move from it and do better. and that's really what I try to do. And I try to, right my wrongs when I've made decisions that weren't the best.
Yep.
But yeah, the years that I've had people that I just know, they're like whispering, I'm not my best self either, because I'm like, I'm constantly scared to make a decision and wondering what is going to be said about me. Whereas when like, I know the parents believe in me as a human to lead this ship and know that whatever decision I make, it is from a good place. Even if they don't agree, even if they don't understand it, it's from a good place in my heart for the benefit of the whole program first, then the team, then the individual athlete. Then those are my best years. And those are those winning years. Those are the years that the championships happen for our babies.
That's it, right? And when it's fun, when everybody's enjoying, you're testing limits, you're pushing one another, and you're okay with that. You're willing to experiment in the performance, right, for what you need. And I think for us too, like we do have the podcast now, right? So parents are listening, the coaches have listened. Like we have to protect and almost lead the way that our environment is, because they're like, hey, we had the dad of the daughter who fell. It was one of our kind of proud moments. They saw us at practice and came up to us and thanked us for the way that during the podcast we talked about their daughter and the whole performance, because we didn't shit on it. We didn't get mad at it. We didn't make it a bad thing. It's okay. Girl had 4 practices. We actually lifted her up. Jeff was a huge component of lifting her up and saying, hey, it's okay. You have 4 practices. Like it's going to happen. And so that leads the culture of our entire environment, because they're also looking at us. What are we saying?
Yep.
Are we? And then our daughters in 10 years, 20 years, when they go back to these episodes, we don't also want them to see, God, Dad, you were such a bad guy. You were just sitting there bad-mouthing my coaches and these people. Like, Dad, I wasn't mad at that stuff. And it's like, well, we were, and now we're fueling all this stuff. They'll get to reflect on it and be like, that's really cool. The culture you helped bring with you to my teams and the other parents that I was involved with. So it kind of helps, but it keeps us in check too, because we don't try to badmouth or go too crazy, because it kind of doesn't matter. I think somebody posted today on Instagram, and it went viral, I think it was Gabby Fuller or Gabby Butler, where she was like, it's cheer on a flying rock. Relax. Like you're cheering on a flying rock. Like what's the big deal? Stop stressing out. And then everybody reposted it and kind of shared it of like, there's a mental aspect that people do not talk about competitive cheer that I think we have to protect at all costs in that culture, is the mental health of it all, because these people it's bad. It can get very toxic.
No. Yeah. And we're in a sport where we're chasing perfection, but we all know that perfection is not existent. It's like, it's the journey of chasing perfection that we become great, that we excel, and those things happen. And, to your point of when a mistake is happening on a mat, I always try to talk to my kids about it as well, as we all could have done something more to make up those points. A drop is 0.25 or 0.5. Like if we had been tighter in jumps and everybody worked on jumps and we had gotten a higher score there, like I want my whole team as a whole to be accountable. Just the same way, if you're the last strikeout in the baseball game, hey, if we had scored more points earlier on, and like got more runs, that poor kid wouldn't have been in it. We all have to be really accountable to what happens on the mat. And I think you guys with dads of young girls, the sooner you can teach them that we all could have done more, we all could have, worked, that the mistake is not the be all end all. And as you're learning, when you said we hit perfect and we still didn't win, it's really chasing the sections and winning each section. And I'm sure, as you've had judges on and you're seeing that piece, that sometimes we hit and you're like, well, they hit, we should win. And then a team drops and beats you. And you're like, how did that happen? And it comes down to like execution of each section and like focusing in on it one step at a time. And like you're talking about, it takes that mental game to not jump ahead, to not be so worried about the pyramid or your beautiful little waterfall at the end that you forget to be in the moment of your first stunt. And then maybe your timing does go wrong. And it's a lot. It's a lot on our babies. And
that's when we had our girls on our podcast, we asked them what was the hardest part. And they said it's the counting, the faces, the knowing the moves. It is a lot all at once, because they'll get so locked in and not do the face, even at practice, because they're so focused on where they got to go and the count. And it's like, our coaches are like, hey, you could smile and count at the same time. It's okay. And they're like, no, it's not. And it's them competing. That was a big thing for me in this world, was you're technically competing against a score sheet, not against the other people in the category. Like, yes, you are. There was 5 in our division. Yes. but you all are competing against the rubric. And I thought that was really crazy because you are just trying to master each segment, make sure your transitions, you're landing in your point first before you move. Judge Gabby complimented our choreographer because they literally planned for giving them that minute to stop, then go
Love
to
it.
their next move, when a lot of choreographers don't, and they're just moving. So it's interesting that you're going against the rubric. You're not even going against the other girls. Don't even worry about those other teams.
Yep.
It doesn't have an effect. You are on stage,
No.
it's your moment, and you are going against the rubric. And the best you can perform at that, the best shot you have. But you
Yes.
hit 0, doesn't mean anything. It just means you did a good clean routine, which to me, I'm noticing that is a really big deal. It's still a big deal, but you could still lose or win given kind of how that plays out because of how somebody performed against their rubric.
Yep, 100%. And I think it's too that, like, you're touching on the controlling your controllables. You know, like, we can't control what the other team does. We can't. We can't control how good they are, how good their choreography is, how good their pyramid is. We can control what we do best, and we can control those, you know, being the best teammate. And it's like that outside noise. You know, the Patriots can't worry so much about, you know, another team, about the Jets. They can worry a little and watch the game film and like look at those things. But at the end of the day, the Patriots got to do what they do best, and
That's
you know, and focus in on those things. And same with parents. We've had years that parents are so worried about, as you guys get into bid land, things change, you know, like getting bids to the end of the season events. It gets a little wild, wild west out there. And reminding our parents that, like, not to be in their heads, the kids' heads every day, like, did you get a bid? Like, are we going to get a bid? Are we going to get a bid? We got to get a bid. Like, you're coming. We got to get a bid. Instead, to do and focus on the steps that would lead to a bid. Showing up for practice, giving 100%, doing more than is expected, you know, being in those extra classes and things. Those are the years that kids don't feel the pressure of the bid and more just focus on the little steps and the journey that eventually do lead to what we want, the bid. So, yeah, that's another really, really good piece.
I'm excited for the bids. David, you've gotten into the bids, right? Do you still understand them, or have you figured them out yet? Because I sometimes still don't get all of them.
I haven't. I'm trying to keep my head in what we have to deal with the prep, and we don't have to really deal with bids here. But yeah, I hear about it all the time. You know, the bid at large or the paid bids, and everyone wants the paid bid. I know that much. I've also heard that the paid bid does not pay nearly as much as it used to. That it used to pay for like everything, and now it only pays for like a small portion of it. Obviously, any bit helps, but
it's still the clout. I think, you know, like for us, like, you know, again, with a subjective sport, I know, you know, you want to be super strategic about what you're doing. And like when you have that you're competing and that you got a paid bid, those are very slim at an event. You know, you guys are probably seeing at some of the events you go to, not every event offers paid bids. And so, you know, if you're a team that got one, like it's a little more like clout and a little more, you know, everybody kind of knows that you were good enough to get the paid bid or to go to one of those really big events with hopefully big, deep divisions. And all those things. So when it comes to the divisions, I think we all agree that like we'd rather see our kid compete and lose than not compete against anyone at all. Do you guys agree with that kind of statement?
100%.
Yeah, I love the competitiveness. Yeah. I'm glad this is a competitive sport. I truly am. I'm glad this isn't like a participation. Hey, you did so good. Here's a little medal that you get to wear around your neck. See you at the next one. No, I love that there's first, second, third place. You know what I mean? Like, you either win or you don't. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, my daughter competed in a dance comp and did a solo, and we found out after she did her solo, wait for the rankings to come out, and they said, "Oh, we don't do rankings. They just get a 4-star or a 3-star, and that's it." And I was like, "This is competitive dance." They're like, "Well, we don't do any like comparison to others." I was like, "That's the most basic definition of competition is direct comparison to others." I was like,
"Yeah,
we didn't sign up for just fun dance, so she could have done the solo at home, and I would have given her 4 stars." That doesn't help us at all. She wants to know how she ranks. And so, yeah, I mean, if we travel, especially these travel teams who travel across the country and then compete against nobody, that would drive me crazy.
That would drive me nuts.
That we go, all the way out there. And I love like the memes are like, I don't know how we're going to do. Could go either way. Like whenever, and they're like, you're the only team. You got first place. Like, it's just, I don't know. I would struggle with that for sure.
I'm not ready for that. I would die if we ended up just going to a comp and there was nobody. And then you're waiting there for your award. Like, what are we going to get? It's like, what do you mean we're going to get? There's nobody. Like, at least 2, 3, 4. Like, this last comp was actually really cool to have 5.
I love
even
that.
though it kind of sucked that we got fifth of fifth. But it was like, okay, we get some good, there's some routines here. Because and then we thought podium would be really cool because now you officially have 3 spots, right? Our first 2
Yes.
comps, it was 1 of 3. So
Yep.
our girls podiumed regardless. Like, we get that, but it's still, like Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last, right?
Yes.
Like, but then
Yep.
going into fifth, it was like, oh shoot, now if you get 1 through 3rd, you actually kind of place on that podium. And then literally they go to start, reading awards, and we were fifth, and we were like, dang,
Yeah.
crazy.
And you want those events where, they're not coming in first because it gets them hungry.
It
I
does.
know when we
Yeah.
come off an event and we've won, it's really hard to motivate my kids to get back to work, for the next big game. But when we've lost, there's a whole different level of, commitment and kind of like the standard of practice that kids are ready to grind, because the feeling of losing is not fun, but it's important that they feel both in a season. I always feel as a coach and as a gym owner that I want them to experience both. I don't want them always coming in last. I need some moments that they can feel accomplished and, maybe a smaller scale event but then I want the big ones. I want what can push me to what I can do as a gym owner in our program from this little town, to what we can continue to dream big for. And it's why we love sport.
That's what these 2 did. They rooted in the second. So we got into the first comp, and we were like, cool, we're going to get third. Me and Dave, we were just like, we're good third. Like, we'll podium, it's fine. And they go and tie for first, which is also very crazy in cheer world. The decimals were literally on point. So then we go into the second comp, and Jeff and David on the pod were like, nah, I'm kind of hoping they maybe don't get first. Like, maybe we
didn't say hope.
This is not true at all. This isn't true at all. He keeps saying this, David. He does. But he's the one that said it. He's the one that said it. Right there. Tom. He's the one that said it. We did not.
So he jinxed you, is
we
what we're
basically
saying.
just said, it's not the worst thing. If we're going to have a loss, it's not the worst thing to have it now. I would rather them lose now than lose at Summit, right?
Yes.
Lose and get some motivation, get that, we aren't just, we're not there. Like, we got first place. We barely tied for first place. We could have easily gotten second place. And then the second event, we had that fall. So it was easier to be like, oh, yeah, well, we did well, but it's just that fall. It was the only mistake. Like, we would have gotten first otherwise. So this last one, I think, was the first time they were like, yeah, we got 5 out of 5. Like, we were fifth. And I noticed a definitely difference on Tuesday and Thursday last week when we had our practices, that it was, the intensity was up. And our coaches were bringing the intensity as well. It was no longer, let's just have some fun. It was like,
let's go.
We got to turn this around.
Summit in 5 weeks, and we got a long ways to go, and to go from fifth to first. We want to have a chance at it. And the girls were up for the challenge. They did a lot of conditioning, a lot of bear crawls, a lot of running every time.
A lot of tears.
And
I think we had 3 or 4 girls actually in tears this one that were just like, dang it. Like, they were just, and my daughter got loaded into, and I was like, dang. Like, I was getting mad. The guys were like, Tom, it's all right. I was like, dang it. Like, get it together. Get your booty up. Like, tighten up. Like, come on. Because that one, we really thought, like you said, after we got the third place and the second one because of the fall, we saw the difference going into this one. We really did come off that stage with the girls thinking it was their best performance ever. They came in locked. They were all, even the girl who had the fall, she stayed on point, and we cheered. We saw it. She was right in her timing, and we're like, yes, we've got this. And then immediately they were like, fifth of fifth. Like, as soon as the reward started, we couldn't even get our phones on. They were like, fifth.
Yeah, we're like the second division they announced. They were like, all right, fifth place. We're like, all right, let's get our phones out for, this team, somebody else. And they say our team. It was shocked. Like, we were all like, wait, they just said our team. Like,
Well, and as a dad, help those kiddos find something good that happened in the routine. Again, like, as we're chasing perfection, it's super easy to find the one bad thing that happened. But, as advice from a mom to dad, teach your kiddos to find the good. Like, tell me 3 great things that happened, though. Wow, your opening tumbling was right on point. Like that timing was great. Like, yes, we dropped a stunt, but the dance, you didn't let your energy go down. Like, it was easy to be rattled and to know that something went wrong, but you kept the energy up. You controlled the controllable. Those are the things that we're going to really be excited about. And as they move through the levels and become world champions one day, that kind of stuff will just give them, kind of the wind beneath their wings to get back out there and to be good teammates and find the positive when it's really easy in our sport to find the one thing that went wrong. So yeah. Well, you guys, I love what you're doing. I think it's so important. It's so cool to see dads this engaged, excited, involved with our sport. I'm excited to keep watching your episodes and all the things that you're doing. I kind of want to close by going around and getting just either one piece of advice that you would give to dads listening, or a parent listening, or, something you wish you had known sooner, that could help somebody else or along the way. So who wants to go first?
Tom asks me this question all the time on the podcast, and I tell him, I was like, it's so hard because every time, A, I want to have a different answer, but two, I'm like, it changes, so much. But we just went over this on our last episode here, and for me, it's just find a group of dads and find a group that you can interact with and make friends with. If there's not a group, there's probably a dad out there. We see a lot of these dads who come fully dressed. I saw one guy, it was one of the saddest things I saw. He was just in a full tux, like red colors, crazy sequins, everything, and just by himself, watching his daughter in the stands, walking down there. Like, he doesn't have that, like his people, like his crew. I'm like, there's other dads in that team that want to do the same kind of stuff, who want to, who are going to come to the practices, who want to lean in, want to learn more about it. Just find them. And if there's not a group already, form the group, send the messages on grouping to the dads, get the dads together. Lead the group.
Well, and so much of our sport is the relationships that you guys have with other families. Like you said, the three of you were kind of like in the waiting area for the first time. I mean, look at this friendship that your babies are going to grow up together, and I'm sure your wives are friends, and like you're going to make memories and have new experiences through this journey of sport. And those relationships are super important as well, that you find your people. So I think that was great.
Yeah. You're going to spend hours with these people every week, regardless. Might as well get to know them and build some relationships.
Yes. Great. All right. Who's next?
Yeah. Well, no, I think the biggest thing I want to talk to dads is break the stigma. Facts. We can be in this sport and have a good time too. This isn't just moms and daughters. And I think we get a lot of flack for that too. Is like, hey, this is our thing. It's like, no, sorry, this is my thing too now.
Yes.
I'm all into cheer. You should see my glitter toes. Let's go. So it's just break the stigma. Have fun. I have a great time. If get dressed up, who are you impressing? You know what I mean? If your daughter looks in the crowd and sees you going bananas and you're dressed up and you've got the bandanas on and the sparkles going on, and that makes them perform that much more for you.
Yep.
I know that when I came out on the football field, right? When I came out on the football field and my mom and dad were dressed head to toe in my high school or college's colors, I was like, oh man, I'm going to put on a show.
I think that, your kids just need you to show up, and then you'll learn along the way. But I love it. Like, show up, wear the gear, wear your gym colors, show your kids how proud you are of them to be a part of that gym and that program, and to have that against your, across your chest. And show up and break that stigma. I want to yell it into the microphone, because all those people that are just like, will only show up to the basketball game if their kid's playing that sport, but won't show up to a cheer comp, won't get in the car and drive for that. We see it all the time. I have great parents in my gym, and I'm incredibly lucky, but through the years we've seen it, and the kids notice it and can see the difference that, dad only wants to go to a baseball game, or, he doesn't want to come and watch cheer. And you guys are such great role models for your babies and for the future generation of men in your program and dads. And I love it. You're doing good stuff.
If you can clap for your boy at a football game, you can cheer for your daughter at a cheer comp. That's what I just said. And it just doesn't make sense. But for my side of it, I also think, like, invest in it, double down with your kid. If you see that they're genuinely enjoying it, and really, like, I'm so tired of the stigma of the dad is the wallet and the Uber. I'm so sick of the shirts. I'm so sick of the every cheer dad on Instagram keeps talking about that. That's the only material they have. And I'm the opposite. I'm doubling down on all that. Like, I'm putting my daughter in double privates. I'm putting her in stunting and tumbling. Like, because she genuinely enjoys it, I want to bring out her best. Just like if my son was in football, I'd be having him do the drills with the coaches. I'd be getting him the good cleats. I'd be finding ways to amplify what his skills are. But I also think, from a dad, like, get involved so you can see where your daughter also might be struggling or need that support, and take that ownership with them and say, hey, I want to get you that help. How do you feel about doing a private this week? Or you want to get into stunting and do some of this? And they're like, yeah, throw more money at it. Like, double down at this point, because I'm sorry, it's only going to get more expensive. You're all in. What's a few more $100 from what you're already spending? So kind of just, I would tell dads, like, learn what your daughter's doing, understand it, and then double down on the areas where you can support them and get them that help. Because it's only going to make them better athletes, better teammates, longer career, right? Also take care of their health. Like, you'll hit your son's macros and calories all day and make sure they got the protein. Like, also do that for your little girl or athlete too that's
Yes.
in cheer, because that stuff will bite them in the booty later in life as they're going through. So it's our job to kind of be the best personal trainer, I guess, to our girls,
Yeah.
and show up for them just like we would our boys, in the same
Yep.
situation.
And I mean, like you're saying, like, yes, our sport, the travel, the things, it's expensive, but we're not paying for cheer. We're paying for all these moments, the memories with your daughter on a weekend away that you're in the car ride back and forth.
Yeah.
My 15-and-a-half-year-old is just starting to drive. So, like right now, I am just loving the fact that she's driving, so she can't be on a phone. And I'm scared for, our life in the car, said car with her. So I am also not on a phone. So, like I'm not catching up on emails. Like we are having conversations more than we ever do on the car ride home because, she's texting friends and doing all the things. And we know too, you guys, you love sport. I love sport. It ends. And man, like, what would you do to go back and have that time with your teammates, with your parents, with, the camaraderie of competitiveness? And a kid is going to work the rest of their life or is going to, gosh, let them play their game and let them be involved and as long as possible because life is way too short and we never know when it could be taken away. And, so like you're saying, investing, supporting, that is the best way you can help your child excel is if they're struggling with something, give them an opportunity, help them get to an open gym, help them get into a lesson or a class, or if they really want to be a flyer, find a class to help them or a back spot or get and make every one of those roles feel equally as important because they all matter. Everybody on the mat is equally as important. So,
well, yeah, that's it. There's so many opportunities to get your kid to where they need to go, and honestly, the confidence that Cheer's given to my daughter is insane. And yeah, so look for those opportunities, like you said, because there are a ton of. If your kid's struggling and can't do a back walkover, my daughter couldn't. She wanted to quit. So I got her into privates. Now she can do back walkovers. She's doing front walkovers, and her confidence is through the roof. So yeah, get them those privates. Get them what they need, 100%, and realize that this is a sport. It is a sport. It isn't standing on the sideline with pom-poms and yelling at the actual sport. Go team! No, this is a team. It is a sport, and it should be treated as a sport.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, shout out to your gym. And, it's obvious you love it and they've pulled the right kind of people in because you guys are the parents that we all wish we had. It's great what you're doing. It's great that you're advocating for your daughters and making them feel important and loved and, just as that their sport matters as anybody else's. Kudos to you for learning about what we do in cheer and being really, I feel like you're paving the way for more dads to step in. And, while it might just be a small ripple right now, I see what you're doing. And I think it's going to become a bigger ripple than you think. And I'm so grateful you took the time out to come on the pod today.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your support and listening and sharing and all the things that you do for Cheer. It means so much to us. And just keep going. And thank you again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're excited. And yeah, we're just going to keep letting dads know, if they listen to your episode here and see us, we want to build that community with y'all. And there are different ways for dads to show up. We're also learning that too, like you had said, it can change and they have work, they have things we know a guy that doesn't go to all the practices, but he's at every comp because he can be there. Right. So it's okay to also show up in your own way. And it's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not showing up at all, we got
the fact is, show up.
That's
show
it.
Up.
Yes.
Show up for your kids.
That's it.
Show up for your kids.
Yep.
It takes nothing to show up for your kids. Walk in and let them know that you're there for them. Period.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Good stuff. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, guys. Everybody go out and find the Cheer Dads Unfiltered. I know you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. YouTube, go out there, follow along, listen, and you're going to get some great takeaways. So thank you again so much, guys, and I'll talk to you soon and hopefully see you guys at a competition one day.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Awesome.